What I want to see in Tears of the Kingdom. A Devil May Cry 4 Nero telekinesis arm, and it looks like that's exactly what we're getting, and I hope that it is. Instead of having magnesis, I want it to work the same way, but we have telekinesis. I can grab all sorts of stuff. I don't want it to be a specific genre of object. I just want to be able to grab things from a distance with an arm and then control it with the motion controls, pretty much transferring exactly the same things that we did with magnesis, but to telekinesis and to new awesome demon arm. It'd also be very cool if that new awesome demon arm could shoot out magical attacks like fire or lightning. Pretty much like the exact same thing that we did with the champion abilities in Breath of the Wild, but we just replace all the champion abilities with new magic attacks, kind of like we had in Ocarina of Time, only we don't need rods anymore like we used to in the older Legend of Zelda games or Breath of the Wild. Now we have Nero demon arm to do the magics with. We could shoot out water balls and stuff. We could have something that helps us cross the water. Maybe you could shoot out wind and you could use that to like push a boat forward when you're on the open waters. I could use a big old fireball to start fires, and in that way I can kind of leverage my use of magic to not have to worry about as many of the survival elements anymore. Not that I want to lose any of the survival elements, I'm just saying it would be cool to be able to start fire with a magic arm, that's all. I also want huge new bosses. It looks like we're getting this anyway. I saw a dragon on a bridge in the trailer and it made me really excited. I want new things kind of like the dragons, or at least of that scale from Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's that one thing that's sort of like a boss fight with a dragon, but not really. And there's the Ganon fight where he's the big pig at the end. That's a real big boy. I want the big boys. I want to fight the big boys. I want it to be like Shadow of the Colossus, but it's Shadow of the Hyrule. I also want more durable weapons, I think. I want to be able to use stronger weapons for longer periods of time, or if I really fall in love with a particular sword or the look of a particular sword, I hate that I throw it one time and it immediately shatters into 1,000 pieces. I'd like us to have a different durability system completely, or at least more generous durability with really cool weapons. If I find something that's like a purple and black royal guard sword, I want to keep that for a long time. I don't want to be able to fight like 2 bokoblins or bokoblins, I don't know how to say that, and then it shatters into the pixie dust. Maybe we get more weapons like the Master Sword that are unbreakable. It doesn't have to be a lot of them. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's 4 or 5 throughout the entire game unbreakable weapons, and they still run out of energy in the same way that the Master Sword did, so that there's still scarcity. You still need to cycle through things. Plus, they take up a weapon slot, so you have to trade off that. It could be neat. I also want a playable instrument, like the flute in Wind Waker or the ocarina in Ocarina of Time. I almost couldn't think of the name Ocarina. Holy shit. But yeah, give Link a guitar. Give Link Ellie's guitar from The Last of Us Part 2. It could even be that simplified. I don't care, I just want to be able to play an instrument. Maybe the instrument changes the weather. Maybe the instrument makes it so that it's night or daytime. I don't know. I'm just saying I want a playable instrument is all. I would like Link to shred. I want to see Link sweep picking. And I'd also like more spooky stuff. There's a little bit of the spooky vibes in the trailers. It looks like nighttime's gonna be spooky, but I don't just mean nighttime. I mean, nighttime would be cool too. It'd be really cool if there were like survival elements and it kind of had like a dying light feel to it where you're kind of afraid to go out at night and you're more incentivized to camp or to stay inside or something like that. That'd be really cool. But anyway, that's not what I mean. I mean more spooky sections. Sort of like how the Korok Forest was like an entire spooky section. Maybe there's a whole graveyard themed area, or like a big haunted mansion thing. I guess a haunted mansion wouldn't make sense, or like a haunted castle thing or something. I don't know, it would be spooky is my point. You know what else is spooky? The weather sometimes. I want new kinds of weather. Great transition myself. Like different kinds of snow. Maybe it could snow in different places. Maybe we could be out on the sea and there's giant raging storms and we're sailing along. Also, there's going to be sailing in the game. There's definitely going to be sailing. And there's going to be raging storms going on the outside. Maybe you could get a tornado and you have to avoid it, or there's whirlpools in the water and you have to try to sail around them, and you're frantically using the little magic wind thing on your sail trying to get it to blow in the opposite direction, and then you get sucked into the tornado and the little game over thingy plays and you throw your controller. It would be really good. Also, it'd be cool if the rain didn't make me slip off of things. If I could climb things efficiently despite it raining, I would appreciate the rain way more. I think nobody would hate the rain in Breath of the Wild. You just love it. You just get excited when it rains because you got the atmosphere and the vibes coming. You wouldn't be worried about being able to scale things or climb on top of stuff or slip off of stuff and die because it would be irrelevant. I also want new dungeons. Maybe not new dungeons. It'd be cool if we had the same amount of shrines as before. Shit, the more shrines, the merrier. But I'd also like something larger. I wouldn't want us to go any smaller. I feel like the shrines are about as compact as you can possibly get. But if we got more medium-sized to large dungeons, I'd be very happy. Even the divine beasts weren't that big, it felt like, at least in comparison to other Zelda games. But that could be nostalgia and how hard it was for me to figure out the dungeons in other Zelda games when I was a kid. So I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly. There used to be more. I mean, maybe not more, because again, there's like 100 shrines or something like that. So I don't want to complain about the 100 shrines. Love the 100 shrines. I love the puzzles very, very much. They're something I look forward to, maybe even more so than the combat. I want bigger, larger dungeons. I also want cutscenes. This is probably the most controversial thing on my entire list. I want cutscenes and more voice acting. I know Breath of the Wild had the most voice act. We got so much that it's weird for me to be asking for more, especially like 2 months before release. I know none of these things are going to be in the game. I'm saying what I want. I'm making a video. Leave me alone. Don't leave me alone. I'm lonely. Which is why I need cutscenes and voice acting. Hold my hand, Nintendo. Pull me through the story. I think that was a lot of people, not a lot of people, I think that was some people's issue with the first Breath of the Wild, is that it felt maybe too open and maybe like there wasn't a narrative, and there certainly was. It was just hidden inside the memories that you have to go all over the place and unlock, and they're kind of obscure. I just want more explicit, spoon-fed story. I want more Zelda talking. I want more people telling me what I'm gonna do next. I want more beautiful music playing and somebody explains something about a new place and I get some Hideo Kojima exposition about how my Nero Devil arm works. It'll be great. Or it won't. We won't know till we try. More so than anything else, I hope we maintain the survival element, or the survival feeling of the game. I love the idea that at nighttime I have to cozy up to a little fire and try to keep warm. I love the temperature gauge and knowing how cold or hot Link is, and that I have to vary my clothing or the food that I eat depending on his comfort level. It's very immersive, and not just immersive, it's fun. It's an enjoyable, sort of different thing that I don't get from many other games, and I wouldn't mind them taking it even further. Maybe I have to eat not just to refill health, but because I'm hungry. Maybe I have to drink water because I get thirsty, or because I'm in a desert where it's exceptionally dry. I love the hunting and scavenging and surviving off the land feeling of Breath of the Wild that maybe comes from the item scarcity, the weapon durability, and some of the other things that I've even complained about in this list. And if you have to ignore everything else that I said to preserve this feeling of survival, this feeling of living and thriving in a world that's meant to destroy you, so be it. I accept that. It is what it is. I don't think it could live up to the unrealistic expectations that we've all set in our mind because Breath of the Wild was so good, and I also don't feel like it has to. It just has to be enjoyable and playable and fun. Which I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's gonna be. Breath of the Wild was such an extraordinary hit out of the park, they know what they did right. I almost can't imagine them following it up with anything less than an absolute spectacle. Or it's gonna be absolutely dog shit, and everyone's gonna hate it, and we're all gonna look back at Breath of the Wild as being the golden age of Zelda, and the last good game before Nintendo walked itself off a cliff. Either way, see you in 3 months. Bye!